Hey everyone, this is Ryder from Skip. I hope you're doing well. It's Monday, September 14th. I hope you had a good weekend. Some quick news update on the stimulus checks. In particular, what President Trump said on Friday about issuing stimulus checks himself, what that looks like, and can he actually do that. I'm also going to bring you up to speed on the news you missed over the weekend, and of course, to give a quick update on the action we announced last week to give 100% of our YouTube revenue this month to issue $1,200 stimulus checks to subscribers to our channel. I'm going to link to that video, but be sure to subscribe because we're serious about this and we're getting other YouTube partners to participate as well. But first, let's talk about the big funding, in particular, what was talked about over the weekend. So we all know that Republicans and Democrats have been for a second stimulus check, although last week in the Republican skinny bill, stimulus checks were left out. So then Trump said, all right, let's do an executive order. Can we reallocate $300 billion in funding that was set aside? Here's what he said. Now we have $300 billion in an account we didn't use and use that stimulus money. So we have $300 billion sitting in an account that we didn't need because things are going so well in the economy. Well, guess what? There's billions of dollars sitting all over the place. You can't actually do this unless Congress agrees. The thing is, Congress isn't agreeing on a stimulus package. There's no way Democrats would agree to this to give Trump this kind of leverage before the election. We cover the news neutrally, but of course, by him saying this, it gives everyone a lot of hope. It creates a lot of clickbaity YouTube videos. You've probably seen them. So Trump is understood to have been referring to the $300 billion funding allocated for small business loans under the CARES Act, right? So this is the big pot of money. Hopefully some of you have already tapped into that. He's saying, all right, let's just give it out to stimulus checks. That's completely not how it works. It's a good idea. Obviously, it's a good idea. The point is, will it happen? And that's what everything comes down to. What will actually happen this month, next month, after the election? That's what we care about. As I mentioned in my video over the weekend, we can talk about the news and the negotiations and give you all hope, but until money's in your bank account, it doesn't really matter. That's why we've written thousands of letters. I've spent all my weekends, literally, I've spent all my weekends, besides one or two, I'll give you that, writing lawmakers, writing senators, researching how else we can help. I've really been trying to do as much as we can. So that's why all of your support and subscribing means so much to us, because we genuinely want to make a difference here. We don't just want to talk for the sake of talking and to entertain you. We actually want money in your bank accounts. You know, mainstream media hasn't talked about this executive order at all. It's mostly something a lot of YouTubers have latched onto, for better or worse. Obviously, it's some hope, but the point is it's probably not very realistic. Now, in unemployment news, that boost from the executive order will end. Here's what the New York Times said on Thursday. FEMA said that supplemental relief checks for unemployed workers instituted by Mr. Trump in an executive memorandum last week would soon end. The payments of $300 or $400 per worker per week, depending on the state, will have lasted only 6 weeks for participating states. And here's what the New York Times said about this idea Trump floated to give out checks himself. Economists and Mr. Trump's own recent history suggest that any significant aid to the economy before the election would need to be provided by Congress, which controls federal spending and allocation of federal spending. In other news, more talk, economists more, calls on Pelosi and Schumer to get a deal done. Stephen Moore is an advisor to President Trump, calling on them both to get a deal done. Again, it's so much talking. Frankly, all of these people should have their own YouTube channel as well to talk about this. It's just talk. It's completely frustrating to hear. So then you have to ask yourself, okay, if Trump's executive order for stimulus checks isn't going to work, if no deal is going to get done this month, what are our options? What can we do? Why should we keep watching videos? You know, every morning when you open your feed, you probably see some positive news that you click on and you realize after watching 10 minutes, nothing's happening. So, 2 things you can do. Number 1, if you're a subscriber, we are giving out stimulus checks. We announced this last week, 100% of our YouTube revenue this month. All of this effort, all of this research, my weekends are going towards stimulus checks for you, period, full stop. At the beginning of October, we're going to pick winners live. People who've commented on this video that we published last week. I'm going to link to that here because you have to go to this video and watch the video in order to be eligible for a stimulus check. And the whole point of this is to start a movement. I know alone I can't make a dent in the 300 million people in this country, but I can start a movement, and I want to inspire other YouTubers to do the same. We've had several reach out that want to get involved. I'm not going to announce who said they'll help out yet, but if you haven't, please get in touch. Together, we're much stronger, especially in the stimulus ecosystem here. It's small enough. There's really only a dozen people consistently covering stimulus checks. What if we came together, created a movement that became even larger, and we could get even bigger names, celebrities, to help our movement, a YouTube creator stimulus? So if you are a creator, reach out, go to youtubestimulus.com. It has my contact information there and a bit about what we're doing and how you can get involved. Again, myself and many others have talked about a lot of the grant programs that are out there for small businesses and stimulus checks. A lot of them give out, $500, $1,000, $2,000, whatever the case may be. And they have small funds too. Let's start our own YouTube creator fund and give back. So finally, when we do videos like this, we can spend half the time talking about Pelosi, Schumer, McConnell, Trump, you name it, and half the time talking about stuff that's actually happening, as in how we're going to get money to people who need it the most. We've heard so many important stories from people who left comments on our video last week, and I've read every one. It means so much to hear your support. Thanks again. As always, stay well, stay safe, and we'll see you tomorrow. Hey Isla, you think we can get some other YouTubers to support our mission?